Thank you, Ramit. Before we begin, I'd like to share a story. Munni, a 7-year-old girl living in an urban slum in the industrial areas of northern Delhi, wakes up every morning at 5 a.m., walks a long distance, stands in queues, listens to quarrels between others just to fetch water from the single municipal tap in her locality for her family every single day, only to be later diagnosed with diarrhea. Shocked, have a lot of questions. So did I. Is this still the case? Do people still need to walk to get water? Doesn't that just happen in Bollywood movies? Well, this may not be true for people like me and you, but it is true not just for Munni, but for around 136 million other Indians who fight the war for water but do not win every day. Greetings, this is Manas Harjai, one of the 32 change makers at the F.A.I.R project, and this is something I'm passionate about, the drinking water crisis in urban slums. Before we begin, I'd like to inform you that this is inspired from real life interactions. Now, and I'd also like to warn you of some boring statistics that might come in between just to display how grave the situation really is. In India, under Section 3 of the Slum Area Improvement and Clearance Act 1956, slums have been defined as mainly those residential areas where dwellings are in any respect unfit for human habitation by reasons of dilapidation, overcrowding, faulty design of buildings, narrowness, or faulty arrangement of streets, lack of ventilation, light, or sanitation facilities, or any combination of these factors which are detrimental to safety, health, and morals. As per the census 2011, slum blocks were present in more than 2,500 towns across a total of 4,000 towns surveyed. In exact terms, there are 108,000 slum blocks pan India, housed by more than 13.8 million households out of a total of 78.9 million households, making it roughly 17.5% of the total households in the country. These are housed by recyclers who collect trash and reuse them, micro slum industries manufacturing rakhis, boxes, kites, etc., working as daily laborers, cleaners, security guards, e-rickshaw drivers, painters, etc. During an interaction and survey that I, along with my peers, conducted on a sample size of 316 households in a slum, we found out that in 310 of the households, the main bread earners were employed as daily wage laborers earning anywhere between 300 to 700 Indian rupees a day, working in large unregulated and unstable job market. Earlier, there were a major dependence on groundwater for water consumption, but now the case is such that mere 53 of the households used the supply water for drinking purposes. A major 249 households have shifted to buying RO cans supplied by private players in those areas since they are left with no other alternative. Earlier, when there were a major dependence on groundwater for consumption, due to increasing consumption over the period of time, the water table has depleted at a fast pace and the quality of water is questionable, hence, not being a permanent source. To add to this, a huge problem is being posed by the discharge of chemical waste by nearby industries into water bodies and seepage of chemical waste stored in underground tanks through cracks, pores, or loose joints, contaminating the natural water with chemical contaminants. Even the supply water isn't free from problems. Pipelines that have been installed in some areas to supply water do not serve their purpose. Due to higher presence of chlorides and wear and tear over the period of time, these pipes have corroded, leading to developing pores through which, again, the contaminants present in the nearby soil of the pipeline, both bacterial and chemical, seep and travel with the water, making it unfit for consumption. This is where the point of source filtration system of water supply has a number of flaws, since the water that is cleaned, then supplied through pipelines, regains the contaminants, making it unfit for consumption again. Now, the income of the majority of these households are such that they are barely able to make three square meals each. So, being able to get RO systems installed is beyond reality. The residents are unaware of the chemical composition of water they consume, and being drinking that water for a long time are never ready to understand that the water is harmful for them. The chemicals present act as a slow poison and give out bad effects over a period of time. Excess presence of some elements cause knee pains, frequent headaches, yellowing of teeth, stomach aches, which they believe to be normal and age related, but is actually being caused by the high amounts of magnesium, calcium, carbonates, sulfides, and sulfates being present in the water they consume. The major diseases caused by these contaminants in India range from minor headaches to deadly diseases such as cholera, diarrhea, typhoid, and hepatitis, which have claimed several lives over the years in India. As per the data from the Central Bureau of Health Intelligence, diarrhea or acute diarrheal diseases are known to affect children under 5 the most. Now, I agree that these are called slums because they lack basic necessities. Even hundreds of settlements are demolished every year by the authorities since they occupy public lands without permission. But half of this city's population live in these places, and each demolition displaces roughly thousands urban poor, rendering them jobless. The need is for the authorities to realize the economic realities and hardships that drive people into slums as a last resort. Efforts to erase these illegal homes are rarely entirely successful because those displaced often move to another stretch of public land or settle in another slum. Again, the economic benefits the slums serve in macroeconomic sense are defeated. As much as I can agree that it is a difficult task to solve the issue of drinking water crisis, but when this is being carried out by private players on a micro scale, it is possible to devise a strategy to take it macro. So, the need of the hour is to promote and develop point of consumption techniques that are affordable and available to be installed and fulfill basic necessities of these dwellers, because at the end of the day, they are also humans and water is crucial for their survival. Thank you.